Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Tactical Leader. Today is going to be a solo cast with me discussing a little bit about my conversation with Brett Knopf. It was a really good one, and I really got some good takeaways from it that I notated while we were chit-chatting. But before I dive into that, I want to remind y'all this show is brought to you by my company, Nightly Productions. If you're ready to discover, embrace, and share your voice all through podcasting, be sure to head over to nightly.productions. Find out how, as a podcast success coach, I can help you do exactly that, where we're going to discover what you need to be saying, embrace it, and begin sharing it so that you can build a thriving and successful business that you've always wanted. Again, that's nightly.productions. The conversation with Brett was a really good one. I really enjoyed talking to him. He's got some big name behind a lot of what he's doing. He's a big guy with David Meltzer. Meltzer's one of those that we've chit-chatted several times, conferences and podcasts and so on and so forth, where when I know one of his guys, and David actually referred Brett to me. So it's one of those I knew would be a great conversation. I really enjoyed chatting with Brett, and a couple of different aspects that I love talking about with him. We were talking about the emotional balance attached to that work-life balance, the different aspects of I guess the different aspects of how the emotional aspect of your personal life is going to feed over into your business life. And I brought up a conversation that I had recently with a client where the personal aspect of their life was really getting broken apart, and something was happening, right? Whereas as business coaches, it's hard for us to really cross that boundary too often unless it's an allowed piece of the conversation, right? Where we can get more involved in the personal side, but that can also get messy. It can become maybe a little bit not unprofessional, but a little bit too comfortable. I think that's what I've run into before, is like sometimes the people get a little bit too comfortable where that boundary's been pushed past. So now it's almost too friendly, right? And I feel like some people don't understand that balance, that as a coach, I'm still there as a resource, but in a position of authority where it's not necessarily, yes, you can be acquaintances and friends, but it's not necessarily built around a friendship. It's built around a business partnership. And it's a really interesting line there that is difficult to manage sometimes, because our personal lives do impact our professional lives in so many capacities, and they feed into each other really heavily. And it's an important thing to notate when that is working for us or not working for us, and maybe more not working for us, right? When we have to recognize sometimes that the personal side of our lives break into the business side. And we talked about responding instead of reacting, being mindful about how you're communicating, what you're saying and or doing as a business owner or in a team and as a leader overall, right? Recognizing that you kind of have to be mindful, right? Be mindful that a response, not a reaction, is the better avenue. Take that deep breath, take that tactical pause, recognize that you are going to offend a lot of people if you aren't mindful of how you're acting and responding. And what's even worse, if you are mindful and you do know you're getting too emotional, and you do know that that's how you're acting, and you're we all get this way, right? Your blood's boiling, you're really mad about something, and then you still engage in the conversation knowing that it's not what you need to be saying. Then you like double down on what you're saying, or you get even more upset during the conversation, and you don't have the capability, because a lot of us we don't have the capability in the middle of an argument or in the middle of a really impassioned discussion. A lot of us don't have the capability to take that pause. It's really difficult, right? Human nature is what it is. And as passionate human beings, especially business owners, where we're all really passionate about what we're doing in business and in life, it can be really difficult for us to draw that line and recognize that sometimes that has been breached. And it's definitely something that can be frustrating for both sides, because as emotions flare, right? Both sides. So I know I'm just as guilty of not being able to catch myself at times when um, certain things are breached as a whole. So it turns into having to really understand what we're working on, how we're working together, different aspects of um, how it all looks, right? How it's manifesting. An interesting word he used was what's triggering that in you, right? What's causing you to feel that way, or I don't know what the right word is that I'm trying to think of. Not feel that way, but definitely learning to recognize what's getting you to the point of frustration. I think that might be it, right? The point of frustration. Um, you have to recognize that point of frustration, what that all looks like. So I really encourage people to take the time to reflect and review and um, work through these things, right? Work through different aspects of things that allow you to be more effective and be more efficient, because when that's not happening, it gets sloppy, it gets messy, right? There's really no better way to put it. It gets messy. So I definitely encourage folks to think through this, um, recognize different aspects of what we're looking at, right? What is manifesting in what we're doing, and put the work in the review into it, right? Just like it's yourself, right? You have to put the work and review into it, and recognize it. I think that's kind of a belabored point at this point, but I really like that. That was a big takeaway for me, and what we were talking about with Brett, and how we were able to, or how he's able to think through it as um, a coach, as he's helping people grow and get better about things. So definitely things to think about. I want to encourage everybody to take that time and really focus on how that presents itself to you. And overall, if it's serving you, if it's serving those around you, and think through all that. So I'll leave that one there. But it's definitely the big learning point. As you can tell, I'm still digesting it a little bit from our conversation with Brett. So definitely something to think through and work on for each of us. And if there's ever more you want to chop up about that, or if you have any thoughts about that, as I'm, chewing on it myself, definitely reach out. Hit me up over on, honestly, Instagram's probably the best spot these days, Zach A. Knight, or at Be a Tactical Leader. Definitely reach out and let me know your thoughts, and maybe we chop it up a little bit there. Talk to y'all soon.